bad self. We take Alura, we just leave them in the north. They can be kids again. Or we just kill them. That's the easiest solution.
As we're sitting here discussing all of the different things that we can do for these children, you go to, or, hear me out,
See, all
we abandon them in the north,
time,
or
resources,
kill
and
them.
energy. A knife to the back of the skull.
Oh, God.
It's just, it's the end.
My alignment is good, she says.
I'm saving lives! This is the trolley car problem! Do you switch the flip right so that you kill one? Do you flip the switch left and everyone around her perishes? You just take out the one. It's for the greater good. It's the utilitarian principle.
Or we can stop the trolley!
I will interject as the DM here and let you guys know that I have so far given you 0 unsolvable puzzles.
We can just stop the trolley!
Solution!
You have.
Or we can just stop the trolley!
With time, resources, and energy, we're trying to progress the story. Knife to the skull, and then done. That's it. That's all it takes.
I mean,
My alignment is
that
good,
like
she
helping them
says.
figure out their stuff wouldn't also progress the story, you know?
There are things when you're going down the dark path that you have presented. Shy of death, you could permanently mute her.
Yeah, I know. That was we'd just stick a pin in her and come back to this later.
And you do have access to the brass pins. You could be just like
right.
her captains
Oh.
and brass pin her and suspended animate her.
I
so
mean,
she'll
we have been
practice
doing it to
doing
one. You guys
Just
are
make
making
her
it like
aerial,
monsters,
you know?
but we left one kid pinned.
But you could permanently mute her.
Don't give her ideas.
You could cut out her tongue and
Do
she
not
would be able
no,
to talk,
no, do not
which
give
is
her
a crucial
ideas.
part of activating your magical power. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it would help.
Negative. I'm gonna talk to gods, because we can do that.
And she gets to live with the knowledge we did this to her. She could just be dead. And there's 0 consequences.
As this conversation progresses, I'll ask again, what's it tell his alignment?
We just changed it to neutral.
That's not a neutral response!
It kind of is, though.
It
really isn't!
Because it's for, she's trying to make sure that the greater safety, the greater good, she has no personal gain from it other than making sure that, there's one less threat to her life,
It's selfless.
Satisfying your blood
It's a practical solution. I'm a practical person. I like vacuums for Christmas. That's who I am.
She doesn't have a blood test, just a lack of empathy.
This is it. Yeah, that's it.
You know what?
That's neutral.
We're gonna...
It's neutral.
Anyways, we could just dump her.
Don't you fucking... None of you...
I mean, I'm kind of finding out
fucking
the one sister thing, but Grant,
We could do literally the exact same thing for Grant.
buddy.
Kill him? Yeah, that's what I suggested.
No, we want to speak to the god of the dead or someone.
Yeah, because we're God-woken and we can fucking do that!
Yeah,
I gotta use a token.
Already broken.
at least one, if not more.
Yeah, right?
Gonna
Resource management.
tally for Marquise.
Welcome back to Mad King, everybody. We're in the middle of some debate as you guys have some things to figure out. She's been sitting here a month, and Derek immediately in the morning pulls you aside. It's like, hey, we've been following the rules you've given us, but we kind of thought that was going to be a couple-day thing at best. She's just in there crying.
Why is she...
And she's asking questions, but we can't answer.
Okay.
She can't see us or anything. She hasn't seen a human being in a month now.
I didn't expect us to be gone that long.
We didn't really, we've shuttered the window so that way people couldn't, like a Moya couldn't
You just
make her
keep
way
her a
up
prisoner like
and
Nathan.
speak with her.
Freedom, more like under new management.
Which is what all the kids thought. Some of them still think is
And
happening.
I don't know exactly what your plan is
Kind of
here,
is
but
happening,
this just keeping a kid sealed
the
in
one
rooms is what I
left.
signed
We're
up
better
for.
I know,
management. We gave them
and
pay raises and
I'm-
pizza parties.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk with some gods
And
and
we
see
could give
if
them
I
the
can
option
get
to
to the root of the
They- that-
problem and see if I
they
can
can
figure
take
out
that
some
option
way
of it.
for her to
there's
control
an
her
outcast.
powers. That way she doesn't endanger anybody
Except for that
else.
one that we kept
Please, please do.
I will.
Except for that one we put.
And on that note, let me fucking see how many god tokens I'm working with right now.
I just say the killing was not the only option I presented. I did present many other options.
Yes, to abandon her in Iceland with giant fucking mantises that like.
She would have been in a town.
Village, they work with
Yeah,
each
whole
other.
fucking
They the
village,
peace.
they're all friendly and-
happy-go-lucky.
It's a pretty stable commune.
Y'all can fucking feel free to throw Grant in there, okay?
Tally 2.
What was that?
Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna spend. Damn, who would I?
That's 3.
Can I see?
Is
It is.
Yeah, it does,
For,
it counts.
for YouTube, at least, it does count.
yes.
Okay.
Right. But that does not.
You can let.
Strange.
Can I see the god list, and then they can figure out what they're doing, while I try to figure out which god would.
So you're going
Possibly
to, you're going
be-
to take this down solo.
For sister,
Yeah,
yeah, because
you got
these
it.
people want to kill slash
Whoa,
abandon
whoa,
sister.
whoa. No one said
What do you
that
mean
we
by
wanted.
these people?
You never,
Y'all bloodthirsty monsters!
you never presented to me
No, that
an
was
option, and I was like, well, if that's the option, that's fine. But, you know, if you have a different option, that's...
It wasn't an actual posit for action, you know. It was
no.
purely
They said
hypothetical.
we weren't serious about killing her.
I killed the child. All I've done is save them.
Bum bum.
I didn't say Bobby.
I did not save Bobby.
All right.
Did I have to kill him? Kind of.
Half of him.
Unaffiliated.
I ripped him from the jaws of death. I didn't realize his body would rip as well.
Child.
Well, you know, what were my
What
options?
designs do you have on the day then? Is Marquise is going to look over this? Is Uzul's looking over the gods?
I mean, I want to be involved. I want to.
Okay.
I want to talk
You
to the
can.
sister.
Right? You could do a lot like what you did with Adara, where you go to her and use your god token there, and you will then immediately know what deity she gets her powers through.
God, yeah. Fuck it, I'll do that.
So instead of looking through the god list and really hurting your brain on that, that might be just the place to start.
Okay, then yeah, I'll do that.
Let's go talk to the child.
Okay,
Everybody come in?
you guys want to go?
I'll do it with Grant, too. You know what? Yeah, sure.
You're gonna god token with Grant
Yeah.
and speak to Grant.
Do you two want to take on Grant? And we'll take on.
Yeah, we can work
Split the
Grant.
party?
Split the party.
We're in town. It should be safe.
different spirit journeys?
Ayahuasca? Cool.
Is that a tally? Can we mention drugs?
I think if it's obscure enough, we can.
Huh.
I'm safe.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I'm gonna rule safety on that one, but be cautious in the future.
All right, I'll use
He's offset.
Yellow card.
Yeah, it's a caution. So you two head over. You get into Aluma's room. You use the god token to bring forth her deity. There are two of you. And instead of like what happened to Adara all those many months ago now, it seems, where she simply changed and started speaking in Smiles' voice, you two find yourselves transported and standing before the god. You are in a grand hall. And immediately I need a pair of will saves.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Love this. Ooh, I do love this. That's a 30.
I will.
Nice.
This was.
Will of a woman who drinks booze.
That's good.
We're done. Oh no, that's a 2 on the die. 17.
You are much less driven by this effect than Itzeli could possibly be. You guys are surrounded by mounds of gold and gems and various items. It is the mother lode. This is more wealth than you think any earthly kingdom has ever possessed in all of history.
It's like
So are
walking
we
into the
chilling
cave
with
of wonders.
Hades?
No, we're
You
chilling with
sit-
Fafnir.
Before Fafnir,
Hades women cooler.
the dwarf
Stuff for
sits
pockets?
upon his throne in dwarf form currently and looks at you very suspiciously. And he is flipping your coin and just looks at, what brings you before me?
Speak to the god.
I will. There is a child that has been given powers, assumably by you.
Many mortals are given powers from me.
We need to know if there's some way that we can either gain more understanding of her power or find some way for her to control her power, because it is inherently dangerous to those around her.
Can we see the list?
Godless?
And
We'll just scan.
who might it be that we're speaking of?
Thank you.
Aluma, my half-sister.
That narrows it down. He gets this kind of far off look in his eyes for a brief moment. And he comes back and, the tally for her is great. A real interesting ability. Anything she desires. Anything you may desire.
With a catch, of course.
If you're willing to pay the price. What do you have to ask about it?
Exactly how does the ask/price work, and is there a way for her to control the power that way it doesn't endanger those around her by...
Why is it that I would tell you that?
I gave you wealth. The presence of a single token.
And I brought you here to speak with me, and speaking with me you are.
Is there something we can do / bring you that would endear you enough to give us your aid?
Side quest.
Asking for something so ambiguous
They can't tell
will set you
why.
on a mighty journey.
They're like stuck in
Like what?
A prized sword of mine has been taken from me. A chosen that prefers the sea life has plundered and pirated it from me and has hidden it away somewhere that I do not know and that I simply don't find. If you find my sword and bring it back, I could offer you such general amnesty as aid would entail. If you wish to further refine this contract, perhaps for very specific information, simple payments can very easily suffice.
Can you make it so she can control her power?
If I was to get directly involved with the process, I'm fairly certain I could easily.
Is that something that payment would suffice for?
Perhaps not in gold, perhaps in rarities.
Do you want a temple in our town?
No, I have no need for mortal worship in all reality. I feel powerful enough as it is. Very few truly worship me in a way. I don't feel like a temple would be in my best interest. But you folk at least have the potential of owning some rather rare artifacts. Do you not?
What of that,
The dwarven shit that we found?
Oh, yeah, there is that. I was going to talk about that crystal scepter that you found in the whirlpool that we have done nothing with this entire time.
I didn't even know we had that. Dang. What is that?
Right?
Well, so I never got it looked at,
You never
so
looked.
all I know is that it's a crystal scepter.
Shiny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have it with you. Yeah,
It looks
I will
expensive.
if you show it off, and just as a DM, I will let you know it is a normal magic item. and it will not suffice.
Cool.
I desire something unique, rare. It's quite the skull you have on your shoulders. Integrated into the armor, very unique style.
Bum, bum. Bum, bum.
Am I to understand you want my armor?
Ah, well, the enchantments on it are rather rudimentary, but the overall aggrandizement and the addition of the rare skull could make it quite the little prize.
How about I can get you another skull?
Just the skull of a demon like that is not necessarily the rarest thing in the world.
I can get
I'm
it
sure you
integrated into some
understand.
armor.
How's it feel to be a Skyrim NPC?
If you bring me the head of something truly rare, by all means. But there are many realms, there are many beasts. That makes skulls not necessarily the most sought after trade good.
Or Cerberus. I mean, they're in purgatory.
Yeah.
How's about?
Do you guys possess any other kinds of
It's not like they
artifacts?
went.
Well, we have those
back
ones that we
afterlife.
got
They're
from
just hanging around.
the
Chime of
Vikel.
interruption.
Standard, unfortunately.
Those two dwarven artifact things.
Not even magical.
Not even magical. Shit.
Gantu's Dwarven War Axe.
Ah. A war axe from a great hero from your realm. There can be multiple of those, but the magics in it are very rare. That could suffice.
Do we want to know? Because then we're going to have the moral conundrum of, oh, we should keep that. That's kind of cool. And then
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. Yeah.
help her, it's yours. And then I'll throw in a
There
bottle of
is-
golden scotch if you
Also,
want it. That's a great personal sacrifice.
I smell a tome on your persons.
No.
Is that Thoth's library that I detect?
Yeah, we were there recently.
And you came back with some prizes.
That have been used.
Mostly.
They're used.
Mostly.
All but one, it seems. Thoth is very careful about distributing his books of sacred knowledge.
Actually, technically, we didn't even get these. We got these from Smiles.
Who stole from
See
Thoth.
something? I was like, yeah, no, we did.
Mention that part.
The only steady source of from Thoth's library is actually from Smiles, as it turns out.
Yeah, we're buddies.
And he's quite the hoarder as well. A man after my own heart, really. But being a hoarder, it's hard to get things out of him sometimes. Do you wish to part with the tome?
So you just want the tome?
Or the war axe.
Or
The tome would seek a much higher price.
it's the comeback kid one, and like, are we really gonna spend 10K every time we want to use it? I don't know.
You can only use it once
Per person, yeah.
But I mean, it is like a you don't die.
Well, we have a
We can-
brooch already that does that,
Yeah,
so
we
we've got
can
one use
get-
of that, and we can get more items that technically do this.
Yes.
So,
They are, generally speaking, much more expensive than 10K. And like your brooch is 2d8 plus 10 healing. Comeback kit is 25% of your max HP.
2d8 plus 10 will give me more than 25% of HP.
For some of you, absolutely.
That's cute.
For you, when you're fucking donkey.
There's a tally for you.
I was so worried about not saying the A word that I forgot. Tally.
I would be willing to give you more assistance for the tome.
What assistance exactly?
Well, I'll let you know right now. I've been tracking her for a little while since you just brought her to my attention. I've looked into the history and the details, the nitty-gritty of things, the fun bits. She's not going to control it. It's not like that. But I could at least give you a hint to keep yourselves alive when dealing with her.
You want us to trade a priceless magical artifact,
Oh, don't get ahead of yourself.
a very expensive magical artifact for a hint.
Yes. It is what you came to bargain for.
Well, we came for like
It's not like
problem solving.
I
like
am known
Bogo
for
Man.
my greed. If you came here seeking bargain deals, you're sadly mistaken.
you ain't got no buy one get one.
So we're back to the plans I established.
We're really not. I mean,
A very general hint for the war axe. I'm willing to spell it out a little more clear for you for the tome.
I feel like the tome will get us what we need.
Okay.
You relinquish the combat kid.
Any strong objections? Yep.
Most wonderful. The deal is struck. Her powers feed off of my inherent greed. The more is asked of her, the more she will ask in return, of course. You seem to know this. It stacks. The more things that are asked of her in succession before a failure, the more extreme the things she is going to ask of you regardless. However, there is a way out of the magics. If you state desires that are not your desires, that are not made out of a selfish desire, you may reset the power without failure.
But that's kind of a. Now that we know that, any time, like we can't like it doesn't work because any desire we ask, now that we know that, is still a selfish desire.
Not necessarily true. Selfish desire is a more refined than your generalistic thinking. I like things. My magic functions off of things. Expensive things. If you ask monetary supply, that adds to the staff. If you ask for great personal strength to aggrandize yourself, that stacks. If you ask for your sickly mother to suddenly be strong as an ox, that might stack. If you ask for a chair, a glass of milk, that stacks. But if you were to ask for a child in the street to be happy, that wouldn't count, would it? Who does that truly aggrandize? Does that stack your wealth? Does it fill your purse? Fulfill your other desires in life? Further your career, your strength, fuel your vengeance? No. Only asking in true selflessness. Can you reset it?
Okay, I have some ideas for that.
All right, that was an
everyone to
okay
be
hint.
vegan.
Worth a tell.
I mean,
Well,
it's a net win. Okay,
And-
that's all I'm saying.
Find my sword.
No, that wasn't. What?
Go find my sword.
see,
You still have a deal open on the table for generalistic help.
Oh.
If you desire truly something from me, you must truly come with something worthy.
Gotcha.
you said it was a.
But you and those around you have functioned very well in extending your own personal wealth and furthering your own personal goals. I quite like that. I'm more than willing to patron to the party if you find a reasonable payment.
I'm just gonna bow out real quick because I have not helped myself with my money.
You haven't helped yourself with your money, but your actions have made you wealthy.
That's fair. That's fair.
And you most certainly have not turned down the wealth.
I have a couple times actually.
Yeah, kind of.
I just the one time all I wanted was a duck. That was cool.
Yeah.
Turned down mini gold for a duck.
Yeah, but that is a magic item worth more than that gold was.
Yeah, I didn't want to because I only wanted a duck.
She said the magical properties were just a bonus, honestly.
Duck. Goose.
So
It's not a duck, it's a pelican.
you said that your sword was taken by a seafaring chosen.
Pirates.
Yes, little Spitfire kid. Chosen of that monstrous one. I can never remember their names.
Charybdis?
Who?
Take that as a no.
Charybdis is not a god.
Scylla.
Scylla is on the list.
Okay.
Poseidon. Fucking horror.
I don't know. Could be.
That's a tally.
Yep. This is stupid.
Where's the swear jar?
Any idea of its name?
Make more money. We
The
have to
chosen
have
sword.
the entire stream
No,
and
I
do
don't know that.
Because he stole your sword.
Well, that is true.
roll like crap.
If I knew them,
See?
I could figure out where to
that's
find
another
them,
tally.
and they wouldn't have my sword anymore.
How long ago was your sword taken?
If teachers can say
It's
it.
been years.
Oh no.
So it wasn't Harroway.
Oh.
Fudge.
Y'all better not get into combat today.
Oh, that's the plan.
Fiddles.
All right. Well,
Under bucket.
what does your sword look like? That way we know it when we see it.
It is a wonderful piece. A great broadsword, but is extremely light in weight. It has holes punctured through the middle of the blade. Perfect size for coins and gems. Its magical properties will vary, depending on whether or not those slots are filled and what they're filled with. Total value. You know how it is.
All right.
It's almost like you stole all the ideas from a video game.
What game?
Like actually, like the bonuses in.
She's talking about
the
facts.
god bonuses.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I was like, his sword doesn't come from me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I swear, I came up with it.
So that was an original idea.
But it is off of
Yes,
course,
yes.
the generalistic idea of the more wealth you have, the more powerful it's going to be. The more wealthy the more value the sword is.
Very well.
Because it's his whole
Just
thing.
giving you grief.
We'll keep an eye out for it. We'll see if we can find it.
Gotta give the DM grief.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It always does great benefit to yell at
Everybody
God.
at the
Get you
table,
guys,
really.
get you guys favors
Yeah. Scream at God
Go
once in a while.
forth.
It's worth it.
and acquire wealth. And with that, you guys are back. You two, you got Grant, and he is rocking away in the corner. He's muttering to himself a little bit. He's got his earbuds in and is blasting
We
music.
ask.
And he just
for
kind of
a
looks
good
up at you
amount of
guys.
shit.
Hey, buddy.
Yes,
You're gonna have
but
to speak
how quick?
loudly. I can't hear you too well.
Not
He takes the earbuds
strong
out.
or anything like that.
Okay. So
You want to get rid of those people?
We've decided.
Huh?
Do you want to get rid of those people?
We're gonna look into your power.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
I like
I'm gonna pull out the coin.
What do I need to do?
Trying to fix Grant. So,
Be you.
No, I'm not doing that.
depending. Yeah.
Should we,
You
should we
need-
take him?
However,
Yeah. We need to be you.
We're gonna go talk to a god. You're coming with us.
Like last time. Like last time. Like last time. Like last time.
Like last
So-
time.
Like last time.
Like last
it's
time.
like, yeah, we can
Like last
You
time.
guys took him to Thug.
like
Yeah.
That's
ask them
right.
for
But
stuff that
Bring the thing.
didn't wind up doing anything.
are about to hold court and hear about.
Got the coin.
the common.
Yeah, you
Detect the coin.
flip and call
then
for
we can have her
his patron specifically.
The people.
Yeah, and you wish to take him with
Still
you in this
depend on
situation.
what
Yes.
Okay, so you will be transported as well, just like they were.
because it's not just like
How many tokens do you have?
I need a fortitude save from the both of
I
you.
have 4 bars after spending that
What do
one.
we?
And how would you guys say your sense of
What do we
smell
want?
is?
Kind of full of peanut butter.
God, full of peanut butter.
Mustache. But
A fortitude
Alright.
Fully
save.
functioning.
all right, enough.
That's okay. That's not bad. 18.
That's not that good.
It's not that good.
A 30?
30 fortitude save, sir.
You
Good for
are able
you.
to resist
The
the
other
effects.
thing
You are
we can do
nauseated
is get you
immediately.
Solid.
As you guys come into this place and there are corpses
Oh, we're talking to the Lord of Decay?
all throughout different stages of decay.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He likes us.
Standing over one,
Absolutely, she throws up immediately.
you probably
However,
Tiny rabbit throw up.
standing over top a corpse,
my con back?
currently
Not really like
poking into a festering wound, investigating,
It's not really super
is
high
a
volume.
relatively
It's
short
like
figure.
Things that are super
Stands
necessary for me at this
maybe
exact moment.
5 feet tall at
It's one of
most,
those things. If I can get it back eventually.
except it has this humongous headdress. And as
probably the problem.
it captures your attention and looks up,
Still be
behind the
affected by
mask
this.
is this hollowed, clicking sound. And you notice that the mask
Yes.
is
However, we-
living. It does not seem to be part of this being, but it is alive in its own sense.
Okay.
If we
Stalks with eyeballs at the end wriggle and writhe.
if we have
The wood of the interior of the mask seems to be flesh-like, but still wooden in appearance. Like a Pinocchio kind of situation. And as it looks at you, you see all of the eyes focus, and it does not seem very pleased to see you. As
Not very
Apwash,
pleased
the
to see-
Lord of Decay, stands before you.
Hey, buddy.
The wooden mouth of the mask opens and clicks shut, and it echoes through this horrid, foul place. And just behind it, in the echo, you hear bouncing from every wall, "What do you want?"
Believe it or not, this is gonna be funny. You're gonna kick out of this. We'd like some assistance with the particular. What is it? Chosen by you? Sport talent?
It's just a sport talent. Yeah.
He has a sport talent from you. He sees dead people all the time, and we would like to help him control it some more.
The jaw opens and clicks once more, and on the reverbs from this seemingly endless space, what a wondrous gift he has been given. What could he possibly need more?
Like to like turn it off, or like anything else other than like just talking to dead people. You know.
The mask clicks once again, and it seems every time it clicks, it gets louder and kind of starts pounding within your skulls, possibly causing a little bit of a headache.
Cool.
Why would he want to do that? For it is in the madness, in the perpetuality, that the true knowledge is found.
Right. So, I don't know, any kind of plans here? We wrote some stuff down.
Yeah, well, I don't think this guy's going to be open to what I had in mind.
Don't.
Well, I mean, because he wants the bodies. He doesn't care about the souls.
No.
And at this point, he's already going to have the bodies. So why should
He
he?
gets the flesh. He is not exclusively the Lord of Decay. He's the Lord of Decay and madness.
And madness.
Okay. You know,
This is one of those lower levels of hell where like the real suffering begins. This realistically is the greatest plane of suffering that mortals can get sent to, is his domain.
Awesome.
That's nice.
Very cool.
What was your plan?
I have no idea. I wanted.
You got like 3 lines there.
No, that's about Fafnir and the sword.
Those are notes.
Those are notes.
The mask clicks once more, garners your attention. Does he forsake my blessings?
I don't know if he forsakes it or if he doesn't really understand it yet.
Yeah, he has no
He's kind of scared.
way to channel it.
It clicks. Good.
All right.
You do not deserve to understand your powers so early. The other gods spoil you like infants.
Maybe some payment could suffice. For,
The jaw slaps closed. What could you possibly have to offer me after ruining my plans, losing me power
right.
in the mortal world?
Did you forget? As soon as you said y'all talking to Opwatch, I was like, oh no.
I did.
You gotta understand.
Forget.
I was unaffiliated with that. This is my kid now. I'm taking it.
You were there.
Right.
But, were you?
You are
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He was unconscious in the
equally
corner the whole
responsible.
Yeah, like, kind of. I didn't really have any motivations at the time. I only met up with those people like 2 days before that happened.
The mortals
They
already
were
think
paid.
that the demons, that Bakasur is the real terror of the underworld. And
Yeah.
you've set me back decades, if not centuries, in your time.
Right, but that's
because
like
of
nothing
your
for you.
actions.
Right.
So I do not feel inclined to be in much of a dealing mood.
Offer him a temple.
You want a temple?
Maybe.
You would dare build a temple to me
I mean, I'm
in
just
the
trying.
mortal world.
I mean, possibly.
And you believe people would worship me there?
I mean, probably not.
They would visit and put down biscuits and milk and honey for me.
Maybe.
Is that the
is that
things
what you
you
want?
like?
Is that what you want?
No.
We do know a great baker.
Do you know?
She can
Let's
make them
see.
in little like skull crossbones.
I'm the Lord of Decay and Madness.
Right.
We could leave them to rot.
I keep secrets of which you never desire to know.
Yeah, you got that right, buddy.
What could the mortals possibly offer me
Got tokens?
besides their fear?
Got tokens?
Your payment has gotten you here simply because it is the way of the gods.
What about Daddy, right? Because like Daddy's kind of stepping in on his turf here, right? Collecting the bodies and whatnot. If he's the Lord of Decay, then Daddy's kind of encroaching on
Liches
his...
do tend to fall underneath his purview of things.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like Daddy is, as far as we know, necessarily working for...
Daddy is, at very least, impersonating another god. So
Yeah.
it would be relatively safe to say that he's not
Should we ask her about that?
worshipping Opwash.
I mean, you could, but also I need to ask, because it kind of just happened. At what point did we start calling the Lich dude Daddy?
He's always been Daddy.
Like at some always been Daddy. I know that like at some point it just started and it just
No, he's literally always been Daddy.
Yeah, that's how Ian introduced him.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't just start calling this disgusting...
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that because at like some point, every time he's been referred to by Daddy, and I'm like, when did that start?
Yeah.
Sorry,
So, like-
didn't mean to interject.
We have
Continue.
this deal set up. Are you part of that deal? Do you have a mirror or what?
No, I don't have a mirror anymore.
Technically, none of us have mirrors because we left them in the Inuit.
Does he still eat up all of our bodies?
I don't think we've killed anybody since we left.
Just because the mirrors were left behind, I bet they've been replaced.
We don't know because like we
I
did
think I'm
kind
the only
of
one
leave it.
with one at this point.
No.
Or you still have one too?
Yeah, because I had to.
Oh.
What did I make a deal? Oh yeah,
Sold it.
yeah. I told him to snatch up Kato.
We have
But
any
we didn't
powerful
leave the
bodies.
mirrors in the fucking radio silence zone, so maybe.
They're in your back pocket.
God
Do
damn
we
it.
have any creatures?
You're asking me if we can give him creatures?
Who's for something important?
I'm not going to give him anything.
I need something here, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that is encroaching on his whole shtick, we're probably wanting to get rid of Daddy anyway. So it's like, hey, man,
Let's just replace
can you?
Bob Wash.
No, it's like if you can help us here, maybe we can get this usurper out of the way.
I'll get a medal.
Like he's obviously been around
happened
a
much
long
later.
time. Like, I don't
Okay.
know. That's the only
So
thing
you're
I can
offering
think
that
of.
we can deal with Daddy.
No, I'm offering that he makes a deal to help us with the kid, and we'll help him to get rid of this nuisance.
That sounds like exactly what I said with extra steps.
Okay.
You propose the idea.
Yeah, that's all I've got. I don't know.
Many liches follow me. Many liches follow Hades or someone else. Some liches follow nobody but themselves. It's none of my true business. However, you propose an interesting idea when you talk about usurpers and those trying to replace me in the mortal world. Many of you mortals have the mistaken belief that Hades, the overseer of the dead, actually administers the punishments to the wicked and does my job. There is a rather grand temple to him in a large city called Silvershire.
Oh no.
I would propose that if it's burnt to the ground, exploded, disappeared,
Right.
Tag it. Aquash was here.
and you were responsible, I may forgive past transgressions.
I see.
Or, if that is too big of an ask for you, and you do not wish to be in my good graces, which you should not, and all you desire is an easement on this child's gift, a sufficient sacrifice may be made in my name.
Of what?
Do you have to ask?
I mean, like, I could probably guess, right? But what? Let's get this. Big bug.
No.
Shut up.
A peasant wouldn't do. Some guardsman in some town I have no interest in.
Right.
They're people that have lived lives. I receive the wicked. It is not often that I get to drive someone good to true
No.
madness and to know the pleasures of true suffering. If you are to find someone pure of heart, a hero of the land, someone good.
Derek.
Nope. Nope.
Isn't he already like? Who's Derek blessed by again?
Dodgy.
Dodgy. That's right.
Yeah, but
Not dealing with that.
I would be more than happy to, in your opinion, help this kid out.
Okay.
hard pass.
The temple thing seems pretty.
That's
Let's pretty doable. Hold on. Let's
you're not a hero. You're not in this level of hell. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
I need you both to make fortitude
Oh no.
as you've been talking for a while.
Oh, that's worse. That's a 13.
it's another 30.
Okay? You're beginning to feel nauseated.
Okay.
You got like a full-on migraine at this
No.
point. Every time the jaw clicks, it is louder. It pounds inside your head. You are feeling very real pain.
You know,
Awesome.
I do think the temple is pretty doable.
What?
temple. Doable.
Oh, this is.
That's a good idea. What do you think, me? I think that's a great idea, me. Thanks, me.
Don't accept that.
Under what pretenses? Like, say, there a time limit on the temple? Is there? Does it
I'll
have
be
to
here forever.
Have to be directly caused? Like, maybe I send some mooks to do it.
If
That
you
sort of
are
thing.
responsible, I care not if you outsource.
All right.
Dude, you know a dragon. Fire-breathing dragon, dude.
He is a
breathe fire.
fire-breathing dragon.
I don't breathe
But
fire.
you know one.
Ice-breathing
But you
dragon.
know one.
That is a bad idea. I know this is all a bad idea. You're not doing anything to stop him. I have a migraine.
So, if
I'm only around if
we do complete this task, what
Which task?
per se, the temple, per se, how is this going to help him? Like, please tell my ignorant brain.
Help. The kid.
Yes.
Oh, well.
He knows nothing of his power and he's afraid of all of it.
I could simply give him the power to turn it on and off, I suppose. It would be very simple for me to do. I could vastly improve it. I could reveal the secrets of the world to him faster.
When you say improve, what do you mean?
Drive him to absolute madness.
It would not be comfortable,
Right.
but the process would leave him much more powerful in his ways.
Right.
That's
Okay.
so vague.
That's cool. I think I got enough information here. I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable. I don't know about you.
I have to get out of here.
Yeah, okay, well,
I could make that happen with the sacrifice, though, as well.
Grant's here.
I don't get many sacrifices.
How has Grant been during this? Is he, how's he
He
doing?
seems to be sitting rather calmly, almost
Grant,
tranced.
buddy, what do you
Yes.
think?
I don't want anybody hurt for me.
Me either. Temple, though? That's just a building.
I guess. I don't really not. I don't know. You're going to lay siege to the city at some point anyway, right?
Right.
Could be a casualty of war.
If there's no other way, and you're going to do it anyway, I wouldn't mind benefiting off of it, I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
It's quiet here.
That's nice. But you were
Is.
listening to what he was saying, right?
Yes.
True madness and all that stuff.
It's been coming for me for a while.
Right. You feel like you learned something today?
We'll see if I can retain it. When they come back, the things they desire to tell me get overwhelming.
Right. Okay. Let's get out of here. Hard maybe.
Don't return to me unless you are ready to bow.
Okay.
And if you see that damned halfling again, tell him I hate him. Truly.
Me too. Me too, buddy.
Don't
You know-
call me that.
This one time, I left him in the forest to burn.
You are gone.
Damn it.
Yeah, because Harley totally stabbed Opwash, didn't he?
Yeah.
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 All right, well. We got a maybe plan for Grant.
We have a real plan for Grant.
You guys come back together and kind of discuss your mornings.
Yeah.
Burning the temple is a terrible idea.
What?
So you help Grant, and you royally piss off Hades.
Hades, yeah. That's someone I don't want to piss off because we're all gonna die eventually, and I don't want to. That's not my. That's
Well,
not
maybe
cool.
if he sends us out to the torture chamber, it won't be so bad. Because, cool with Outlaw.
You think he wouldn't, think about that?
Hey, man.
Or we die, but we did good things, so we just go to the field of asphodel
That's
and do
a
nothing.
big maybe.
what I got.
That's a big maybe.
This is what I got. I just try to help the damn kids, so I don't...
Which kid?
So what Alquash is mad about, Hades is much more of an administrator. He really is hands off when it comes to the underworld of things. Osiris is the one that takes care of
You
the
get a
good
tally
people.
mark.
For what? The D word?
Yes.
Yep. Alquash handles the super bad, and then there's a bunch of kind of middling levels
Dag
where different
nabbit.
things
Bad
happen.
nabbit. Doggone
Right.
it.
Alquash is upset because people basically exclusively attribute Osiris is kind of the savior of the dead, and Hades is just kind of the generic, if you do bad, you go to Hades kind of thing.
But that's not really his
But
gig.
it's not his thing at all. Mortals just have a little bit of a misunderstanding with that.
Yeah, and then Anubis is the judge,
He's
right?
the judge.
Yeah.
Got it. So, further to the point, let's not
That's what I got, man.
burn down a temple to Hades.
I
Just
need
had
to
a headache
take
the
a
whole time.
nap.
Started
My
throwing up as
head
soon as we got in there,
hurts.
so...
That place was
So-
disgusting.
Okay. Look.
What do you want to do?
So, first, we want to, or Uzul wants to get with Derek and inform him of the new plan with the child. So,
Okay.
we've put our heads together while they were dealing with scary Opwash. So, if we release Aluma, yeah. She can go about, do her thing. We'll try to keep the specifics of her powers under wraps. That way we don't have any greedy fucking townspeople running up to her being like, give me $1 million.
Okay.
So,
Of course.
we...
Tally.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Hardcore F-bomb.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You said $1 million effing dollars.
Thank you.
Breeze over that.
So...
I can't say a thing that holds back water. I can't say that.
So we keep the whole specifics of her power under wraps, so we don't have any greedy people causing problems. And then, say halfway through the day, and at the end of the day, since Derek is we'll just call him a benefactor for the children and everything, and he's just trying to help people anyways. We have Derek specifically ask her for a selfless task to help somebody else or help with something to attempt to reset the stacks. That way, she can still, live a life outside of the room, and then
Okay.
inevitably build stacks, and then have Derek be there as a reset button.
I do have one question about it. We ask something of her after she asks things of us, correct?
Not necessarily. It's you ask for something, and then the task that she asks of you afterwards is congruent to the task that was asked of her. And then it's
Yes, no,
stacks.
I understand that, but she asks first. I'm simply wondering, how frequently does she do it? And how do I guarantee that I'm the one she asks? If she's out and about and she asks some random person for a glass of water, and then asks them to state their desires, and they don't know the rules, what am I to do besides try to intervene as best I can?
Muzzle. Thumbs up.
All gas.
So
All gay.
it's kind of the
Woman
thought
in
that
the
I had of it would be
No.
relatively okay for other people to ask her for things, but we have you there, or periodically checking on her to reset. That way nobody gets hurt.
Okay.
Because either that or like we just have an armed guard follow her around to ensure.
Well, she probably should not be unattended.
Yeah.
Anyway, perhaps we get some other people involved in this as well, so we can take it in shifts.
Yeah. Get a designated guard.
Or we can also get another kin.
Like who?
I don't know. Do we have someone that only wants good for people?
Let me consult my fucking notes. What notes? Your notes.
Tally mark. He said it again.
Let's see. No, because we have him set for that.
I will get on it.
I want to talk to the kid.
To Aluma?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. You go into the room, and she immediately perks up. Hello?
Hi, sorry you've been left in here so long. We're trying to figure out what to do with you.
Oh,
Eat you by your
what do you mean what to do with me?
Well, your power is dangerous and can hurt people. So
But I don't,
it's not under your control. It's not your fault.
I'm not trying to hurt you.
No.
I don't want anybody to be hurt.
We know. We understand. We've got it figured out. We talked to your benefactor god who bestowed upon you the powers, and he gave us the rundown.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been busy.
So what are we doing? Can I go outside? I really liked it there.
Yes, you can go outside. Not yet. We're going to get some people who are in on this, so that whenever your powers do start up, we can kind of run interference so nobody gets hurt on accident because they're greedy bastards.
I need you to roll a d12.
That's not a D12. I'm sorry.
That's a D12.
I'm being dumb for a second. 8.
Okay, all right. When could I expect to leave the room again? It's been so long, it feels.
Maybe like a couple days, maybe sooner. We're gonna get you out of here as soon as we can.
Okay. Could I get some new books?
Get you
I got
new
some books for her.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
She just kind of looks at you expectantly, I guess.
I mean, we're having a conversation. I'll get them later.
Yeah.
I got some great books.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else? Or
Uh,
would you go grab some books?
Yep.
Need books?
You got Kay's books?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring the Kay's books.
That's very wonderful, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Could I have your pinky nail? Just the whole thing.
Why?
What?
Why?
Could I have it?
Why?
I don't know. I simply
She asked for some
want
books.
it.
I mean, it's not like I can just attach it, so.
Well, if you pull, right?
She
No.
asked for some books.
You say no?
Try
Yeah.
reset
I need a
it.
fortitude save.
Reset it. She asked for the books.
It's 30.
Ask for a child to be happy.
30 total. Crippling pain takes over you. You fall to the floor. You maintain consciousness,
Oof.
but you feel it.
That's not good. That is
And when
not your
you
Gucci.
get back up,
name.
she seems kind of trancy. It seems like, the hamster's left the wheel a little bit. She's like, but could I just the one, either hand?
You're a demon.
Ask her the question. Do the reset.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it works. I think she has to ask me to state my desire before I can trigger the thing.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, you got the books, right?
Fortitude save.
You got the books, right? So, after you gave her the books, she should have asked
That's
for the
not how it
desire.
works. It's a build-up. That is not as good. That's a 23.
I need you to roll a percentile die.
I mean, you'll grow it back. Yeah, it's not like a permanent loss.
Both of them. You roll the D100. So that's your 10's place, then you get your 1's place.
65.
How many max hit points do you have?
83.
You need to reduce that by 65.
Oh! What?
As this horrid pain washes over you.
Oh no!
Ding a ding a bing bing bong.
Like, that's her new max?
Yes.
Oh.
At least for the time being. I don't want to cause any distress. I just simply need that pinky nail.
It'll grow back.
Yeah.
You what?
Fortitude save. So just do it by hand.
16.
16, your strength is sufficient. It is grueling pain.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is not necessarily comparable to the pain that you had just suffered.
Yep, that's what I was waiting for.
You tear the pinky nail out from the roots. You place it in her hand, and she seems to come back and kind of puts it on the ground for a minute. What books did you bring me? These look wonderful.
Yeah, they're the story and life of Kay, the great alchemist.
Great
Greek
alchemist.
gnome
That sounds.
She says,
most
bleeding out of her
wonderful.
finger.
Do you know this Kay? When did he? What is it? A fantasy?
No, he's here.
Autobiography.
He lives here.
He's here.
Yeah.
Could I meet him?
After you read the books.
Read the books first. See if you still want to meet him.
I very much want to meet him.
will. She stated her desire.
Read the books first.
Could I meet him?
Read the books first.
And then I can. That's a promise.
It's not a promise.
But I really want to meet him.
Well,
Get out.
read
Just
the
close
books
the door.
first.
Just close the freaking door.
I'll certainly
door?
read the books first. But you promised that you'd bring him to see me. Please.
You can meet Kay.
Oh.
Wonderful. How will I inform you when I finish the books? I'm a very fast reader.
I want you to read them slowly.
Well, how will I inform you when I finish with the books?
If you read them slowly enough, you'll be able to be out and about.
Tell her to
Just
read them
talk.
each like 3 or 4 times before she gets to me.
It'll still be like 20 minutes.
So you'll be out. You can tell Derek. Derek can tell me. Or set a date.
So someone might come for me tomorrow. I'll see someone every day to let them know whether or not I've finished the book. At least.
Well, no, I'm telling you to take your time.
Yes, of course, but
It's going to be several days.
I have nothing but
Theoretically.
time. Several days before I can meet this Kay.
Yeah, at least. You can meet him after you finish the books at some point.
I would really desire to meet him sooner.
We'll see how fast you see him.
I want your word.
I'm giving you my word that you get to meet Kay at
Okay.
some point after you finish the
I
books.
can slip a note under the door,
Sure.
and then you'll bring him immediately.
We will bring him at some point after you finish the books.
You said after I finish the book. And
Yeah.
So I'll slip a note under the door, and then I'll expect to see him.
She's terrifying.
At some point, yes.
No,
Just
no,
say at some point yes and close the door.
you said right after.
No, I did not.
You said after I finished the books, I could meet this Kay.
I still agree
wanna
to that
meet- I've
statement.
never met an author before.
Like I said,
That's a strong way to think about him.
Where's your book, huh?
Yeah,
it's what I'm saying. Read the books first. See if you still want to meet him.
I simply want your word that I'll
State that.
meet him after I read the books.
I give you my word. You will meet him after you read the books.
Wonderful.
I saved my wife with the knowledge of Kay. Okay?
Thank you.
Don't
I
even-
appreciate it.
Don't even get on me about this.
Are you
Yeah,
okay?
he knows
You
things.
seem
I mean,
really
sure,
guarded.
Yeah, if I
Yeah, you just destroyed me because of your powers, which we're talking about are dangerous.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I didn't
that's okay.
mean to.
That's okay.
You just don't want to be around me now.
I'm still standing
I
here.
get it.
If I wanted to not be around you, I would have left out the door.
I'll start on the books.
Yeah, we're okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
You leave.
No. Set a bar of chocolate down as I walk out.
She appreciates that.
Yeah, I leave. Pinky nail down.
That's 2 that you need to add to yours, and you forgot one of Donald's. But that, that's pretty brutal.
She is currently at
Is it?
tier 3.
Do you want to rip out your pinky nail?
Was her
On the
dad
power.
turned into a skin battery?
She has not been reset yet. And you've gone
I'll send you
through
the
2
image
cycles.
again, I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, things get more
Where is
extreme
it?
as time goes on.
All your bones.
Got it.
Yeah, I was trying to trigger it. I was doing my best, but like,
There he is.
You could have killed yourself there. Pretty close.
You think a fingernail's worse than that?
Be careful of your refusals.
Poor girl.
but also in character, she wouldn't have just
Yeah,
done
of
that.
course.
So, kind of had to be done.
You guys said you had a better idea for Grant, though?
Yeah,
that was the idea. The idea was to have her help Grant.
First selfless act would be to help him shut off his power a little bit.
Okay.
That was the whole plan.
Gotcha.
Instead, I lost a pinky nail and
65 hit points.
You have
80% of my health.
Yeah.
you have
Hey, you have
also
less hit points than I do.
delayed the triggering by a good couple of days though now too, because her last request was to meet Kay. So you gotta wait a couple of days probably for her to finish those books.
That's okay. I need to get HP back.
Kay is not going to do great with this.
No.
You can regain
She
this
needs to be
hit
like
point loss
unable to
through
talk
normal
to him
training.
because he won't be able to handle it.
So if you begin doing your normal training, again your endurance training, you can 1 hit point a day, bring them back.
A day?
However, this is not an affliction that like a restoration or healing magic can.
Cool. Cool.
Been waiting to pull that one out.
2 months.
So,
2 months it's going to take you.
question, if she would have rolled above an 83,
Yeah.
You'd have been donezo. I could have brought you back in a different body.
I mean, honestly, that might have been better because I think I could roll 2d8 plus 10 to be above this.
Your death
Wow,
ward, but it is a reduction of your maximum hit points, so the death ward would not work in this situation
That's no good, buddy.
Gotcha.
because you cannot heal above your max HP.
What is it called?
So, ready to go dungeon crawling, guys?
There's like a term for that.
I mean, kind of. We were.
Can't tank anymore. You can't.
We were ready for it.
One hitter quitter. That 1 HP in a dream.
1 HP in a dream.
I'll
That's true.
go ahead and prepare Death Ward for you, my friend. I'll put that on my list right now. Yikes.
So as far as her entourage goes, thinking, like, I'm sure there's some kids that could help with that. Honestly, Adara, maybe, because like she's a
Adara's
wise
usually
lass.
pretty careful about what she says and stuff as well.
Exactly, and like she would know.
She does
the
also have
repercussions.
that initial sport talent where if desires are said in front of her, she will just zone out and do it, at least for minor things. So there would be no risk of refusal at her lower levels, at least.
Yeah.
Does it count if because if we
Because
put
she-
Mo with her because he can't really talk, right? Like
It is not the speaking,
Mm-hmm.
it is accepting or refusing the task.
But is he technically not accepting or refusing if he can't talk?
You can, as you've seen,
Yeah,
you can try to dance around it,
yeah, but it doesn't work.
but she fixates.
Yeah, insistent.
And it will come down to either you're actively trying to avoid, which is the same as refusal,
Mm-hmm.
or even without talking, if you complete the task, you're in the clear.
So yeah, so we'll stick Adara as like part of the entourage.
But you know as well, her earlier requests, she was asking for some new furniture for the room. She asked for you to tell her your name initially, was the first thing she ever asked of you. if you can get the reset, you're not at risk of her being like, yeah, I need you to cut off half your nose or some horrid stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, who would want to do things like that?
yeah, we'll.
Yeah, you can
Adara now has a
fix
new
that,
task
or-
to babysit Aluma. We'll get.
I've
like,
been waiting for this day.
That's concerning.
It's very dangerous, but I've seen enough that I believe I can navigate it.
Perfect.
So long as she's reset to a reasonable level before I begin.
Yes, that is the next. Yes, we're gonna get that reset.
Brave child.
Yes. So Derek, like, I know he's got a lot on his plate. Actually, not a whole lot now that we've uncryoed the children.
He has a lot more on his plate now that you've uncried the children, because now he is administering aid and guidance and lessons to these kids and housing them and making sure that some of the ones like Casper that have more violent tendencies aren't slipping out of control.
Okay.
He's making sure that, kids that want to go into the town and try to use their magic to find work are getting set up in an appropriate way.
Okay.
He does have a lot on his plate.
Okay.
Plus, he is your town's healer.
But he does have his ward, Frida. Who
He does have
takes some of
Frida,
the burden.
and if you remember as well, the 3 kobolds, Huma and Ni, have
Yeah.
moved into town as well. And they are technically 3 medical practitioners, however, they all
Operate
they
as one.
operate as one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Adara, Derek to as much as
Yeah.
he can. We can also get, like, I don't know, a contingency of, like, I don't know, small handful of guards to and, like, let them in on, like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Your job is to protect the people from this child.
Some more trusted lads.
Exactly.
I show him the pinky and my damaged self. This is what happens if you
Yeah.
fuck up.
You look ghastly. The guards
What
are
happened to
scared.
you?
That's a tally.
Well, I don't think this is gonna work, Ian.
It's gonna have to.
Stay with
It's all just practice.
Yeah, so we'll get the guards, like I said, just like a small handful of them, like honestly 2 or 3, just like, because like honestly, like when she's out and about, like Adara can just be hanging out with her to like
Yeah.
do most of the interference, but like hell, even Adara needs a break at some point. So like, yeah,
I understand wanting to have the guards, but I just don't think it's gonna. She'll just get them to do whatever she needs.
yeah. However, they are aware of like the situation. So
Having people kind of read in on at least some basic practices with it, so long as she gets reset down to a reasonable level, to a level 1, level 2, or whatever,
exactly,
it won't
exactly.
be that big of a deal.
Exactly. We're essentially what we're doing is we're having folks with her at all times to.
Kind of keeping a perimeter so that she can't interact with other people.
Well, not even necessarily so she can't interact, but keeping an eye on the progression, and then if it.
When it gets to the state your desire, they immediately state something selfless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it always is just.
Either that, or like if it reaches a point, they're like, okay, they can bring her back to Derek, or like something. Just like again, keeping like you said, keeping folks that are like read in and like know what to expect from this kid and can prevent the danger from happening.
I mean, you say that, but like Itzelli went in knowing exactly what could happen and lost 65 hit points.
We're also very progressed right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Which
not
the
very,
the whole point of this is to keep it.
There are still some very simple things that she's been asking of you.
Yeah, in
2
order
out of 3 were very simple.
Yeah.
in
But
order
it
to keep it
yeah,
from.
you are at the point where she is going to start asking things that any sane human being is going to outright refuse.
Exactly. So we're keeping folks around to keep it from getting to that point.
We could always just use a couple coins and teleport her to the place where magic doesn't work, because this is going to be not
No,
fun.
you can't, because Janus cannot teleport
That's
her there.
true.
You can teleport her near there.
Yeah.
Or we could put a pin in it.
So, we have a plan.
Keep her in cold storage.
I will
We do have the ice room.
forewarn you.
Oh no, we
A
don't.
little bit
There's
of
a vacuum.
DM talk here. Postponing completion of a task beyond what is at least relatively agreed will count as refusal. Right? So if she's like, oh, could you get me a glass of water? And you're like, oh yeah, I will totally do that, but you plan on doing it next year, you have a reasonable amount of time. And the reason is not necessarily set by you.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, well, we have a plan for that one. How long until we have court?
Tomorrow-ish.
Okay.
You could have said a couple of days ago, 2-3 days ago, that you were going to hold court.
Okay.
So you could do that tonight, even feasibly, or tomorrow, however you desire to do it.
Just go ahead and do it tomorrow.
All right. Any holdings on the afternoon? Anything that you guys feel like you need to do?
No. We get
Don't train?
Yeah, I'm here for the next 2 months.
You want some peanut butter?
Yeah, you regain a hit point.
Bulk you up a little bit?
Buddy.
That's rough.
Yeah. That's real bad.
Fine. What are you at?
22.
It could possibly, to some of you, provide a little bit of comfort, though, knowing that the maximum amount of hit points you can lose in a single refusal is 100.
That is not comforting. No, that would.
Could survive
2 rounds.
2 rounds.
So we send you guys in for tasks from now on.
You could also roll 1 hit point and simply lose 1 of them.
Dear God.
And refuse tons of times.
Don't send me in.
Get in there, champ.
The dice are not generally in my
Mr.
favor.
160
so I'm not
HP, get
gonna-
on in there, champ.
Don't send me in. 160.
Get in there, Mr. 162. All right, well, for the rest of the day, I'm just going to be getting the, I don't know, whatever the Bailey's meeting hall is or whatever
You get
situated.
the grand hall kind of set up. You
Yeah.
get a chair down there. You get the people kind of registered. There's a lot of general issues
Yeah,
on the platter, and we'll kind of just bust through a couple.
that's
of
kind of
them.
what we're here for.
As morning comes,
Do we want, before we start, do we want to possibly bring in any of the kids with us? Just to watch?
I mean, not particularly. It's not really.
there's maybe 1 or 2 that are interested. It's not a necessity. though.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they could be around.
You could bring in the charismatic kid just in case
what I
anyone
was
wants
thinking.
to argue
Bring in
with
Bryson.
us. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Just,
Or
you know,
go to that
for
kid who like wants to be
mitigation.
accountant, you know, and kind of see where the money's
Ty
going.
Ritter.
See where the money's going a little bit. I don't know.
Sure.
Easy. Okay. You get them kind of read in real quick and dirty, and the morning comes, and most of it is general arguments over property lines. There's some it's civil
Quite
matters.
to the-
Criminal matters, of course, are not brought before you because those
the
are
death.
handled when
Yeah.
they occur, more
Yeah.
or less. There are a couple of things as some individuals come and are like, hey, we would like to designate, we got a lot of new people coming into town, and we need a new housing district designated and named where we're getting crowded.
Okay. We're starting on that.
There is they kind of expect a name and
Spots
they
district.
need you to kind of
So, is
Stop.
there? Yeah.
Defects, Voss.
Where's?
to the east is the cheapest land. It is farmland for very far out. Southeast you have Hunter's Haven that already exists, and then all around the Bailey itself, around Bronze Shire, the city, you have all the northern properties. All the rich people are kind of living to the western end, and the south end there is one large housing district block, but like further south towards not quite Bronze, it's just woods and a couple odd-end farmsteads.
Okay, so
Further
we.
east, you kind of could keep expanding, but you do start running the risks eventually of running into Mad King activity, as the Legion Wall is that way. The town of Kayenta is very far away. You don't really have to worry about that, and it's a very small town. But somewhere in between you guys and Kayenta is the Ravenwalkers Coven.
Yeah, and but let's keep our folks away from that. Yeah, so we can expand.
We should build up.
I was thinking actually south towards not quite. That way, like that's like
kind of
the
the-
safest.
Kind of the obvious choice.
Yeah.
What is the new housing district going to be named?
Svos district. Svos district. Svos district.
You can have that one, sure.
Yeah. I have a chair on the table.
Svos district. All right.
Much smaller than mine.
No, it's not.
Mine's in the middle. Yes.
We could call it Kenoseville.
Yeah, yes,
That's a
yes.
cooler
Yes,
name.
it is.
They're cool with the names.
You get to the
They're going
next
to
one.
propose papers of affiliation with taxes and all of that, as it is set different for each kind of zone
Mhm.
that people live in. They will be proposing that to you shortly. There is a question of industry in town. All these new people are moving in. There's not necessarily a very wide spread of jobs. And it is asked of you, do you plan on bringing any forms of industry, any forms of entertainment? Is the town going to sponsor and build somewhere for people to work?
I could open a veterinary.
How well do peanuts grow here?
Very well, if you use druidic magic. You guys have a couple druids around, so
You
have a couple druids.
already have them growing peanuts.
there is rather large peanut crops
Hey,
around.
we're
This is
picking a trade,
popular
man.
food.
We can pick a trade,
So
Double down.
And now, like,
Double down.
you don't have to tell people to farm. People will farm.
yeah,
You don't have to tell people to open up a new construction business. They can do that on their own.
Yeah, a lot of
They're
the-
wondering if, because like right now, you have a small temple to Osiris, just in that larger housing block to the south end. But they can't even handle all the kids that they've got now. A lot of the kids are going uneducated. They want to know if there's going to be a university built, if there's going to be a new temple that has distinguished rites that's going to train people for things, if there's going to be a temple to Vulcan being made, teaching people how to blacksmith and construct and learn crafts. They're wondering if there's going to be a temple to Kronos for general timekeeping, learning the stars and constellations, all these fun things. If there's going to be a temple to Thoth built, so that way you guys have somewhere to store records
Got a
and
temple for
knowledge that the
someone.
public can access. Are you going to expand the Temple of Osiris for general education? Are you going to build a temple to John
No.
to train paladins?
I was thinking more
Or a temple to Ares?
Yeah, I was thinking like that's where my mind was
That's
on.
where we're
that.
going to go for the general public. The temple to Ares.
Okay,
We
so
are building an army.
And they do, that question does come to you kind of with the expectation that multiple of these things are going to be on the line. But understanding that, only so many bigger projects can be undertaken at once.
So to prioritize.
They have heard that a contract has been put out on a temple to Smiles, and when these questions are being brought to you, there is some general disagreement and displeasement with that, as they don't know what the temple's going to do for the people.
We made a
I'll,
deal.
Because
yeah.
a lot of temples house teachers that teach specific trades, specific crafts, specific arts of war, and things like that. But nobody really has temples to Smiles. They don't really know what that's going to serve. And they're, of course, cool with having a temple, but they need these city amenities if they're going to have this kind of city population.
okay. So as far as the Smiles question goes, I'll defer them to my associate here.
Yeah, so we have to. That's the big thing. And other than that, it's entertainment.
And, that's,
For whom?
they seem kind of displeased
Yeah.
with the answer, but they understand. And they didn't necessarily expect less.
Yeah, like it's not like
Right.
I was like, hey, I love Smiles so much that everyone else must do it. It was commanded. So-
That seems to alleviate them a good little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of one of those things where, like, a temple to Hades really doesn't serve for much. They're kind of a big show of wealth, and that's kind of what they're figuring this is as well. Now that it was commanded to you, they know that you guys interact with the gods. They're much more alleviated by that, but they still hold firm that, if you guys are going to be going around building temples, you should build temples that serve them in some way.
We agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they just want to know who. What's the town going to do for them? They're all taxpayers. They're all moving into town paying these taxes, but a vast majority of them are illiterate, untrained labor, and they desire the opportunity for more.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, at this exact moment, what we need is the untrained labor. We need construction. We need construction crews.
You guys have a lot of construction going on, though.
I know, that's the point.
With this new housing district and stuff, but you're not at any lack of labor, but you are at a lack of foremen. You're at a lack of engineers. You're at a lack of truly trained warriors.
You have too many churls.
You're at a lack of the guys at Hunter's Haven do a good job.
Rubbish.
But Arbor handles the teaching of the children there instead of a temple to Sylvanas or Kokopelli or something like that. And so, your forest management isn't even necessarily as good as it could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
we need to find some smarties. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm gleaning from this.
How much gold do we have in the party? Because
lot.
a lot of that is, a lot of this construction will depend on how much gold we have, right?
yeah, and there's also
Because I would be down to
there
go
is
into the
also-
forest and help build a temple to Sylvanas, and that's something that Invidia and Bartholomew.
You guys spent a lot of the town treasury doing up the walls, refurbishing the castle, building the redoubts and stuff to repel the National Guard's attack a couple months ago. You've recouped some of those costs, but with the building of the temple to Ganesh for Derek, the orphanage, with sponsoring Smiles' temple and things like that, a good chunk of the money's kind of dried
No,
up.
I paid for Smiles.
You paid
Temple.
for that one, yeah, but that is money that's
How
dried
much
up.
did you pay for that temple?
It was like
4K?
4K, because it wasn't a big thing necessarily. It was elaborate, but not huge.
Yeah.
So
You guys have in the treasury enough to sponsor one large temple that could feasibly handle
Generate
education for
Income and
a
education.
good chunk of the
Okay.
population.
So using
how much would that, one large temple cost on average?
A large temple, you're looking probably 12,000 gold pieces,
Okay.
maybe a little less, depending exactly as to how aggrandized it
Okay.
is.
And for the size of the town, that's what we would need in
For the
order
size of the town, that's what you're going to
it
need for it
to
to
be beneficial.
Yeah, for it to really make an impact.
Okay.
Now you could, of course, break that down and do 4K temples and pick 3 gods then for the same price.
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking at classroom sizes of maybe 15 kids a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Bronze Shire right now, the population was maybe 7,000 people.
Uh-huh.
You're now looking at possibly 10,000 people living here
Mm-hmm.
as you've had all these refugees come in. Not quite Bronze is suffering that same kind of hyper immigration going on. And so your town's doing well, but it is experiencing these growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
And the temple to Osiris is small. It's that kind of 15-person class size, and they only handle general education. The old monk that works there is not, the most learned man in the world himself kind of thing.
So right now, yeah, we'll go ahead and move that to 1.
So my idea would be use the town treasury to immediately start on a big one to Ares, because we unfortunately need.
It's an era of war. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. And then I would be willing to contribute 6,000 gold to
Do like a smaller
expand Osiris's.
Okay.
To
So
upgrade it basically to a large.
Yeah, if that
Yeah.
is that how
Sufficient.
this would kind of work.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
There is, let me go back to my list here. So I got some names that there are like general calls for.
So I have enough gold to build a large temple.
The
if
temple
we
to
chose
Osiris
one.
is always a big one because that's basically the public school
Yeah.
of the area. There is a lot of demand for a temple to Aphrodite as it specializes in women and their general role in feudal society and teaching them. It teaches.
Hey, we should talk to the huntresses about that.
No,
That's a bad idea.
The huntresses would have very different ideas.
Yeah,
You're in.
I disagree with that idea.
So
Both Kayla and Izeli.
When you look at, 80 to 90% of the population all going towards one profession, housewife, being able to deliver a child, being able to handle a pregnancy healthily, being able to cook and clean, knowing how to take care of livestock, milking cows and things like that, general peasantry work like that is excruciatingly important to your people. And that is what the Temple of Aphrodite holds. It doesn't produce working women.
I know exactly what it produces. I stand against it.
All right. They are very displeased to hear that.
why?
Said give the people what they want.
Because they should be going to the Temple of Ares.
I mean, they can. They have the choice, but
They have the choice, but
Not if we don't build the
like
temple.
the peasantry is saying in front of you,
yeah. So you want to take away their power of choice.
almost 90% of the women are not going to choose
Think about the
that pathway.
prestige point.
And it's the same as if you build a temple to Kronos that handles timekeeping and watching the stars and navigation and stuff like that. Most people aren't going to choose that path. That's kind of a specialized thing.
Right. I'm not saying we won't build a temple to Aphrodite. It's on the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Okay. So
Other things that are top of the list for the people.
I mean,
Would
Rosie
wind
the
up
Riveter,
being-
right? Like we could train the women for that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I get.
It's always biased.
No,
is that women
I get
are
what you're
stronger
saying.
fighters than men, anyways.
Yeah.
We be better.
The town currently is able to be handled just by, city guard and Raymond, more or less, and now you guys holding your first court. However, they want a temple to Tyr, where there are going to be law brothers, monks specifically trained in the laws, whatever you guys and Raymond have made those laws to be. That way they can go and they can handle civil cases and even criminal cases in a much faster way. Because as population goes up, inherently crime rate's going to go up, as well as the amount of civil suits that are going on. So that's high on their list. Also sitting high on their list is, not for their own purposes, but for your guys' purposes, a temple to Isis. Your children, and you have a ton of them, all have a myriad of magical powers, and it is a general consensus in the town, even though none of your kids have individually gone and really made big ruckuses anywhere. There's occasions. There's times where a magical talent gets a little out of hand. There's times where people are walking by and they see poor Grant, man, and he's sitting there yelling at himself, and they know it's magic, but they just think he's insane. They want a specialized school that is going to train magically talented individuals so that your kids can get some further training and be more professional. Now, you are more than welcome to say they are wrong in their assumptions, which they may or may not be, but it is something that they desire.
Okay.
You need to make them My Hero Academia.
So the issue I'm seeing with this in general is, we can construct these temples, but do we have anybody who can actually run them and teach these things?
Possibly not on your immediate list of, NPCs and stuff like that. However,
It is one of those
it
things.
is kind of one of those
where it's
things
like,
you build it and
Yeah.
If we build it, they will come.
Exactly. That's my
Not
That's
if
my
the
thought
Mad
on
King kills them on their way.
Correct.
Now, if the Mad King kills them on their way, there are also, of course, in your refugees, there are many people where, you know, there's a guy who used to teach basic literacy courses at a Temple of Osiris. You know, you have
Exactly. We have like
And
10,000.
I'm not
people
allowed
in
to
our
go to those classes
Alright.
because it would look bad for us or whatever.
the other huge one that they have.
I did say
there,
that.
there is the general understanding that you guys are not on great terms with the Druidic Association. There is a lot of anxiety that when spring comes, there are not going to be enough Druidic services available to help them enhance their crops.
So my question on that is, how widespread knowledge is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Who,
Yeah,
who
like-
fibbed? Who dunked on me?
Yeah, like, because for the most part, most people don't even know that the rabbit's the druid.
Yeah, as you ask about that, they simply state that the druid in the east still controls a humongous section of woodlands, and the few people that have interacted and talked to peasantry around, some of your apprentices perhaps, some of the woodsmen perhaps, Aslo even, maybe talks about him. They know that you're at least on semi-decent terms with him, and they know that he was wanted by the association. They've also ran into another old man who has made his way around town and caused some chaos, but generally speaking, they understand that he's with you.
Good old Tim.
And he is very open about not being an association druid and not being part of that. They also understand that Lucian, the last association druid that was here, was on good terms with you guys and hung out with you, but seemed to leave in a hurry, and they haven't seen him again, you know?
Okay.
And so there is, without a temple of Sylvanas or Kokopelli being really the one for the farmers, Sylvanas being a little bit more of just a generalistic druid. They're worried, you know? They want to make sure that you guys have a source of this kind of druidic power to come in and help them with enhancement of their crops when spring comes. Because the current town, you know, the old town population, didn't necessarily rely on that service, but that was most of their export was food goods. Now with the population doubling, they might struggle to feed that many people, especially if more keep showing up.
Okay. So,
And there is of course, the Druidic Association many of the druids can do things like automatically till the land at the beginning of the growing season so they don't have to plow it by hand. That right out the gate is just it saves guys' spines, it keeps farmers in the game longer, so a lot of the older farming population is very worried about this. They allow for the growing of peanuts in the land because they don't grow here naturally, you know?
I'm definitely on board for like building a temple either for Kokopelli or for Sylvanas because I understand that
Yeah.
if there's a druidic temple, that's going to help with conservation of the land and it's going to make people happier. So happier, healthier, whatever.
They, as the peasantry, are not as concerned about
I know.
the conservation end.
But I am.
So they lean to Kokopelli.
Yeah.
However, with Hunter's Haven around and them being much more on the conservation side, the peasantry has kind of come together and been like, you know, Sylvanas, if we only get a couple of temples, a temple to Sylvanas would be generally more beneficial.
okay. So, with all that information,
Yes.
we already said we're going to spend treasury funding to increase the size of the Temple of Osiris to a full-size temple.
No, Ares is going to be.
That's what the treasury is for.
Treasury.
Taylor wants to spend
I spent
6,000
my
to
personal
upgrade
gold
Osiris's.
to do Osiris.
Copy.
Okay. A 6,000 gold.
We're becoming
temple
real
to
godly
Osiris.
folk.
So,
Okay. They are.
And you were going to drop yours. On,
I'm willing to drop it for like
Sylvanas.
a druidic temple, yeah.
Okay, so she's going to
How
drop.
much? It's in basically 4,000 gold increments. So what you've got with 6,000, you're on the cusp of a tier 2 temple.
Well, with it expanding the one that's already there, does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you could.
So that,
the
I was
building,
thinking that would be like the tier 2.
the building would generally need demolished
Oh.
and rebuilt, but a lot of the assets inside, the old textbooks and things like that, can be preserved, and you might be able to save enough on it. But as
House
they
flipping.
kind of penny pinch a little bit, Thelmar from the Thieves Guild is willing to front the extra 2,000 gold pieces.
Okay.
Okay.
I can
So-
fully build a large temple.
12,000 to Sylvanas.
That would be my preference.
They're happy with that.
Cool.
That they're very happy about that. They're less pleased to hear that a full sponsorship is going to Ares. They understand that we're at war. They understand that the guards need more training and stuff. But right now, you are talking to the peasantry. You're talking to the non-fighting population.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Go to the temple. That can change. We want
I
you.
understand wanting to build one to Ares, but it's like, are we building it for us, or are we building it for the, like, we already have a connection to Ares. I don't know.
no, so the point of the temples isn't the point of the temples isn't for like a kudo points with the god that we're
Yeah.
doing it to.
They're
It is
schools for the peasantry.
Exactly, they're schools.
It's
So-
to build a bigger army.
Exactly. So the temple to Ares isn't like, oh, having a connection to Ares. The temple to Ares is training soldiers.
Yeah.
Which we desperately need.
It realistically takes your ability to make your town guards 2nd to 3rd level NPCs to like 5th, 7th level. You can have specialized classes. You can teach barbarians there. You can teach.
Exactly.
I didn't know we were
subclasses,
playing
fighters and
Civilizations
brawlers and
here,
stuff.
Exactly.
A little bit of city building.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You guys wanted to hold court. Otherwise, this would all be stuff that would eventually just wind up being handled behind.
yeah. So
I
next,
guess.
as far as next in order of importance, I think the school to Isis is next on like the
Yeah. And,
order of importance.
Every month, more kids get magical talent.
Exactly.
You have currently
Yeah.
0 ways of teaching
Well,
kids.
and
Exactly.
we want to keep saving kids if we can.
Exactly. So as far as like next on the agenda, so we have
You
Ares.
might attract a teacher who could potentially teach Mo to turn his sport talent off.
Exactly.
Through normal
So
means.
we
I
have
lost a fingernail for this. My plan is going to work for this.
Well, that's for Grant, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
okay.
You got them, and then you also have, shoot, what was his name again? Eisen.
Hey, that could be another selfless, right? It doesn't really benefit us for Mo to have a space, but yeah,
I mean, it kind of does.
it kind of does.
So Osiris is checked.
Okay.
That's getting built. Ares' temple is getting built. Sylvanas' temple is getting built. Yeah, like I said, next on as far as like once funds become available, I think the temple to Isis would be the next logical choice of importance. And then
But you are not fronting any money for that currently.
I can
That'll just be when the treasury is ready. They should be
No,
pretty
I can
pleased
pitch-
with 3 at the moment.
pitch some towards
They are generally happy.
yeah.
They are mostly happy with the temple to Osiris, as that is a general education facility, but it's going to be too small for the amount of population that you have. So there's still a little anxiety there.
with the additions to it.
Yes.
How much more do we need? I have another
A
1,000
tier
left.
3 is a large temple, but you guys have a very large population.
So we need another 4.
You could build. You might at this point. Bronze Shire needs multiple temples to Osiris to
Okay.
function.
So
The
my
temple to Sylvanas, they're also super happy about. That's going to be basically all they're going to need at this current
We could always build
population
one
level.
for Kokopelli later.
Yeah.
So my thought to help with the Osiris thing is because after the temple to
my
Isis to help with the magic kids, my
Put
next
somebody down on
thought
temple.
was
Bad.
temple
Look bad.
to either Vulcan
bad.
or Thoth to
They would
get
be-
that like
they'd be happy with
Could be
that.
a
There's
gazebo.
plenty of young
Well, you
folk
give
around that
Thoth a
want to
whole
learn
temple,
blacksmithing and a
yeah
specific craft.
because that would
I'm building one for
ease the
Sylvanas.
And a temple to Thoth
Not married
just
to Sylvanas,
make
okay?
it just makes everybody smarter, right?
Yeah.
They don't teach classes there necessarily, but they hold the information. It's a public library in function.
Yeah, and I feel as if that would ease the influx or like the overflow from our Osiris temple, as well as getting, like you said, more specialized jobs.
You could have a gifted and talented program.
So yeah, like the Vulcan temple would be like at number 4.
I guess that would be
And then we could go after that to the temple for Tyr
for the, well, just the gifted.
to get just like the lawmen in the town.
He
Yeah.
just said that his temple is like a library.
And then
it would still just be Osiris.
after that,
They like that you're willing
Sit them
to
in there and
eventually put up
Do
all
like
these
one
things.
lecture
But if they're not getting
They talk
paid
about
for,
philosophy.
and like the
That's it.
project's going to be starting soon,
yeah. So
telling them
the,
isn't necessarily going to ease.
yeah. So we have the 3, and then I'll front some to get the school to ISIS started.
I have another 1,000 if we need it.
2,000 gold gets you a small temple that can handle a small class size, which isn't necessarily going to be enough, but
What size? What
it will-
size
it'll
do we
get
need for what we
it'll get
currently
your
have?
extreme cases done.
What size do we need for the people that we currently have?
To train all magically talented people
Yeah.
that you have in your population, you're probably going to need tier 3.
Tier 3. What you
Yeah.
said? Just 12.
12,000.
Does the babbling baboon have any reserves?
You guys could go get a couple hundred gold pieces from the babbling baboon
That's not-
relatively easily.
That's
A
not.
question that does come up for you guys as you're kind of talking about personally fronting for these things and treasury this, treasury that, is, well, why don't you throw a tournament or something to fundraise?
Because we don't. Where are the people going to come from, other than just here?
There is a good chunk of money inside your economy. However, it's not
Joanne.
necessarily like you guys are going to say, "Hey, we want to build a temple to Thoth,"
give us
and the peasantry is just going to come up, pay their taxes, and then give you money on top of that out of the goodness of their heart. It's just not necessarily how these things are going to work. But if you were to throw a tournament, if you were to throw
peanut butter wrestling
a
match.
big festival, a
Calm down.
magic fair, if you guys had perhaps some of your NPCs, they understand that a couple of your kids make things. If they were to make some stuff and go sell it somewhere, to the Pirate Isles, to someone else, they know you have relations with the huntresses. If you could set up a trade route, that would bring more money into you guys.
In order to set up a trade route with the huntresses, we would have to break through the Legion wall.
Or figure out
Well-
some kind of magical portal, yes.
We're also planning on going to Leadshire and trying to make friends with them. Like,
Yeah, so that's
if
gonna
we
be
do
a-
that, we
yeah.
could throw a tournament and involve Leadshire.
Yes.
Potentially. I don't really know
So-
what they're like yet, so.
Let's go ahead and go with a tier 2 ISIS school, which would be 6K total, right?
8.
8.
8? Fuck.
But you can do 6. You
That's
can
a
do
tally.
That's a tally.
1, and then I can throw in.
Yeah, I have 1,000 remaining, so.
Can you pitch 200?
He doesn't want to build anything because he
want to pitch anything for
feels bad because he built a gazebo for his wife, and if he builds a
I would
temple
build
for
my
someone
wife a
else,
see.
it's gonna look bad.
Only asking for 200 gold. Can we go to the bar and take 200?
I have 1,137 gold left.
Okay,
That's
you can pitch 1,000. You
Yes.
can pitch 600. I've got 800. 200 from the bar. Tier 2 temple.
Okay.
I will not walk
Wait,
down
you
that road.
said me pitch what?
You said 6,000. That's what you offered, right?
Fuck it, sure, yeah.
That's a tally.
Tally! Flub. Just say flub it.
Okay.
No money in the party.
I am now broke.
It happens.
I have 10
Listen,
rupees.
this is what I've been waiting for, to spend it on something worthwhile.
The Temple to Sylvanas will be very worthwhile. It's gonna help Hunter's Haven folk become better conservationists. Your forests are gonna be much better managed. Your risks of forest fires are
much
going to
money do you
dip
have?
drastically.
137.
And at the same time, your peasantry will have access to
so broke.
specialized farming equipment and hopefully magically talented druidic folk
Yeah.
that can become trained to help them in the farming endeavors as well.
I'm gonna make it clear, this temple is not friendly to the association.
So,
This is a non-association temple.
Yeah, it's just usually it's always been the association that sends out druids
Yeah.
to go and do.
I just don't want association druids to come here
You can make
expecting.
your own association.
And they won't because the association knows you're here, and the only association druids that are going to be showing up are ones that are hunting you down.
Cool.
so just
Make your own
for
association.
just for my personal notes,
could-
at this point we have a tier 3 Osiris.
Yes.
We have a tier 3 Sylvanas.
Yes.
What tier temple are we getting for Ares with the treasury stuff? Is it tier 3 as well?
Tier 3.
Okay. And then
ISIS
a
tier 2.
tier 2 for ISIS. Okay. And then we'll,
Oh, okay. Amidst the grumblings of your peasantry, especially about your shutting down the temple to Aphrodite, Thelmar steps in as kind of a peacekeeper, and he is going to fund a tier 2. He's got 8,000 gold pieces. However, they've been mostly doing information runs, so the Thieves Guild has been making a ton of money from outside sources. But he is willing to spend that much on a relatively small temple.
To Aphrodite?
Yeah,
Okay.
to at least get the ball rolling.
I glare at him, but I say nothing.
You can't make eye contact with him.
I glare in his general direction.
Yes, you do.
And I say nothing.
And at what tier is Derek's temple to Ganesha?
To Ganesh, it is tier 4. It is very large.
Good for him.
Good for him.
And Smiles is a tier 1.
And Smiles is a tier 1. Yeah,
My
just
wife's got a gazebo.
nice basic, and yeah, that's sub, you know.
She's got an altar.
Because you guys, you know, all throughout town and all throughout, especially when you go towards the farming villages and stuff, you'll see, you know, stacked rock shrines with little offerings and stuff to different gods. Those have no realistic benefit as they cannot be staffed. They're too small. Because what you get from these temples, the gods themselves, it's not like building your tier 3 temple to Sylvanas. Sylvanas blesses your land personally. That's not how it works. The temple houses specialized employees, druids that then go out and do these things, and people who teach other magically talented folk that are born in your town and stuff to do those things as well.
Okay.
And in your guys' case, we'll take on sport talents that have those kind of functions. However, you go into the general world of the Mad King, and of course the sport talent kids get swept away.
I want to throw out another option for the naming of the southern portion of town. I just thought about this. We should call it the Baboon's Backside, because it's on the south end of town.